A few people over the last probably 8-9 months has asked for some more videos on the CET, and we figured the best way to show you a CET in its natural habitat broken down. CET, she's one of the later builds, so she's a KJ registration, 44 KJ 77, and we're quite fond of it. But sometimes I get the impression that she's not too fond of us and she just wants to be static. Because this 19-ton breeze block shaped thing is amphibious, means there's no holes in the bottom. So when it rains, it fills up with water. And everything inside it also needs to be amphibious, so it doesn't sink. But she does come equipped with bilge pumps. So we'll give the camera to Josh in a minute, we'll climb up and we'll flick the bilge pumps on and start draining it, ready to get in. The downside is, Josh, she does have quite a big set of batteries in.
And they need to be lifted out of the way.
They do. So our issue mainly at the minute is we've lost steering. She won't steer left. And first gear has left the chat. So we're hoping that the main thing we've got to fix today is the steering and work out why we've lost first gear so we can make a plan on how we're going to get him back.
Get the hatch open. And then I'm in. We're in. They're up in there. There's actually two pumps, front one and the back one. We're interested in the front one because that's where we're going to be. So, get the old master switch on, and then just flick him on. And it pumps out over there. Might have to just leave that running for a bit.
When we first got the CET, she was stuck in a hedge. I'll add a photo now. Everything refers to a hedge around here, doesn't it? Welcome to Norfolk. Hedgerow is the way forwards. One of the things that was wrong with it was this steering valve. So we did a little bodge to get it onto the low loader so we get it back to Tinkering HQ. That worked, and then we did a bit of a better fix, but that has now failed. I think it's because of the materials I used and how we bonded it. If you've been in a CT valve before, you'll know that these aren't normally brass or phosphorus bronze, they're normally aluminium, and they were corroded to hell, and almost rotten away really, where water sat in it over the years. So we made some new ones up, and then we bonded a piece of rubber to the top. Now that's worked fantastically now for a year, probably a year. We've done a lot with it as well. She's quite a good shunting at things around the yard, and we use her all the time really, but it's failed. I'm guessing the glue that I used to bond it reacted with the brass and corroded, and then it's allowed it to corrode, and now it's separated. I think that's what's happened. You can see here where all the brass has gone green, and it hasn't anywhere else. The rest of the valve is still bronze coloured. So how does the steering valve work, and what does it look like? In the valve itself, we've got two sides. We've got left and we've got right, and actuation in this side we steer left, and then if it activates in this side we steer right. The air comes in the bottom here, and then if this valve's activated we send pressure out here. Exhaust here. Quite simple really, but we've got all of these bits. So effectively there is a seat in here, and you can see how from this side you can see how rotten out it was. I mean, it looks awful in there. That needs another clean up. because there's a little chunk missing there, and that's because we've put a brass seat in and bonded that in there, because the original alley isn't any good, and you can't weld to it because it's made of like monkey steel. It's like die cast, it's not proper aluminium. So that seat down there, you've got this rubber here that push on the end, and when you apply spring pressure by the spring in the back, what that's doing, it's a bit hard to fit on camera, when that's fitted, that holds that against the seat, and then air stays in this side only, can't get to here. But in this top half, we've got all this. So when the lever's pushed down, that pushes that, which pushes this off the seat, air comes past, and she steers. And the purpose of this spring is you can't over pressure it, because this is only small and weak down the bottom there. The spring, once it's fully activated, the spring then compresses. Bit hard to do. The spring then compresses rather than damaging the valve. So he goes in there. Then this cap at the top, that will go in there. And then we can put it all back together. Worked for a year, so I've proven that our new design of it does work. I think we've just used the wrong materials. Brass perhaps wasn't the thing to use. Maybe we need to use stainless or something. It's got to be good with, we're in an air system, so we've got to be good with moisture. And then obviously something that we can then vulcanise the rubber seat to it. And whether we have to send it away to be vulcanised or that's something we can do ourselves, I'm not sure. You'll see a little bit later, I've got hindsight, to know that we're going to take the top of the gearbox off to investigate first gear in a little bit, and that's not going to go to plan, unfortunately. So we're going to put it all back together, use it for what we need to use it for. When we park her up, once we open, we're going to pull the gearbox, and I'll show you why in the next bit of this video. So we're going to put the valve back together as we are, rebond it, knowing that it's going to last a little while again. Then we're going to pull it apart and then redesign it again. And maybe with your guys' help and some research, we can choose some better materials and bond it better. And hopefully get a longer than a year out of it. Because it's not the funnest thing to fit in and out, really. It's really not. Or maybe someone's got a lead on a new old stock or another steering valve for a CT. That would be awesome if we could just get rid of this and get ourselves a better one. I've been trying now for about 2 years to get hold of one. Can't get one anywhere. Then we could get rid of this contraption I'd keep having to redesign and remake, and we could just start fresh with a decent one. But that currently isn't an option. As I say, I've been trying that for a couple of years to get a new steering valve for her. Unattainable. Can't find one. They don't cross-reference to anything civilianly. I could only just see that they were used on CETs and just can't find one. So for now, we're stuck with this thing. So we'll put it back together and then we'll pull it apart in a couple of months' time and we'll have some new bits made up. And you'll see, we've got lathe and mill, we've got access to all of that, so we'll see us and we'll make the new bits and get some more life. Because she's got a big old display this year at Armourfest. We're going to dig a hole with it. The plan is we're going to dig a hole with the CET and then use the Avery to put a Facine in it. And then get someone to drive over the Facine. That's what we're hoping. So she's got our best behaviour. So dig a hole, we need first gear. And, well, if we want to dig it in the arena, we need steering. If not, she'll only go around forwards and backwards in the yard. So let's give this all a clean up and then let's put it back together. Our first thing to do is we need to insert the little valve. We pop him in. And then we've got a circlip to go here. which are a faff to fit. So that's in. Activate him once to get him square. Yep. So now we've got two O-rings that go in. Packing plate first. Two O-rings on. Again, you can make sure they're activating by looking in the side through the hole here, but they are activating. So we go for our top pieces. I'm going to copper slip these. I don't need lubricating as such, I just don't want them to get stuck. And now we can bolt the bottom plate on. Now we can bolt this on. So with the nut gun you don't get any feel, so I like just to you go into aluminium, so I don't want to just send it all the way home with an ugger and a dugger. It's nice to get some feel. So that's now all built up, ready to go back on. We fit this once she's fitted. Sure. That's better. So CET actually has two different steering modes. We've got road steer, and what road steer does, it applies a brake to the track you want to turn around, and you gently go around the corner like this. Then we've got a skid steer, which what that does, it applies a clutch to that brake to stop power going to it, and a bigger brake, and locks that track solid, and then turns around it, and it'll pivot around itself. If you're earth moving or using the bucket or something, that's more useful. And that steers like this. Let's have a look at all the valves and what do they do. So we've got air that comes out once we activate the steering unit, comes out of these two pipes and comes to our quick dumps, then goes out to the steering system. The idea for the quick dumps is when you suddenly apply pressure, it closes the top of it and then works as usual. Air goes down to the cylinder chamber, but once the air pressure is different between either side of the quick dump, they open and dump all the air very quickly, so the steering doesn't snag or hang. And the steering will come on quickly and then let go straight away. There's no delay as the air exhausts out of the steering valve. And then, because we've got two different driving positions, we get two levers to activate the steering. So you pull that one that way, you can see then activates the steering. And then same with this side. Main brakes are here. And then we've got these extra little valves dotted around, 3 of them. 2 and 3. And they activate the clutches on the steering box. So before we put the steering valve back in, we're going to have a look at the gearbox solenoids. Now, it is a bit dark, but we've got a torch, so you can see what we're up to. What we're hoping for is a stuck solenoid on first gear there. And that'd just be a case of taking it out, cleaning it all up, lubricating it and sticking it back together again, and hopefully we'll have first gear. So we'll climb up and have a look. It's a 4-speed gearbox with forward and reverse in the transfer box, so we've got 4 speeds forwards and 4 speeds in reverse, and then lock up, so we can lock up the torque converter and give it direct drive. But we're hoping that number 1 solenoid is C.
So, neutral, got the top cover off. So if I have forwards, so I heard that one move, and then 1, that one, 2, yeah, 3, and 4. There we go. And then neutral, and reverse. So I hear him click. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, so they all work. Which means our lack of first gear is not a solenoid issue.
Neutral.
Please.
Neutral.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a bit annoying. So you can see on top of there where the emergency gear select pushes on.
Yes.
Can you explain that quickly?
Yeah, so if I hop on that. So forward and reverse are these 2. And then I think 2 and 3 are those 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't quite know why we've got 7. Oh, because 4th lockout. Yep, no, that makes sense. So, or one of these is a lockout, maybe. So when you press the emergency gears, that's on a cable, and there's a pair of arms in the case, and they just push on the end rather than pull on the solenoid. So if you have an electrical fault, you can turn it on that way, and it enables the lockout as well, so you get drive. There's no slipping of the clutch or anything, it just locks it up, locks the gearbox up in whatever gear it's in to guarantee drive through to your tracks. But that's not our problem. Our problem is somewhere else. So we shall dig deeper into the gearbox.
Oh, it got a little bit dark to show you this bit last night, but we found our issue with first gear. We took the top cover of the gearbox to inspect the gear bands, and it's broke. First gear band adjuster, as you can see, the adjuster bolt is snapped off and the adjuster is no longer connected to anything, as well as the brace that goes around the band. The band doesn't look particularly worn. In fact, well, the band's not that worn. So I'm not entirely sure why that adjuster bolt snapped. I don't know how long it's snapped for. Unless you come out of the military in 2011, whether it was snapped before or in civilian use after that. No, I'm not sure. That does mean it's gearbox out and strip, because you can't change that bolt with it all together. So we'll do what we thought we'd do, would proceed as we are for now, use it the next couple of weeks what we need it to do, and then we'll pull the gearbox and rebuild the gearbox, and that'll be an interesting video for you guys to see. Didn't expect to be doing that, but ferret gearbox though, but just big. So let's get the steering valve in. Then we'll test that and see if that works. That there I'm pretty sure was done once it snapped, because it would have cocked over and hit the inside edge of here.
Steering valve back in the light. Now you can see what we're doing. You can see it's a little bit of a maze of pipes in here. Chuck a compressor on it in the dark and a little wiggle to and fro just to double check that it is still working properly. It didn't quite have enough pressure in the system to seal the dump valves though, so that's our one. So still got a little check to do when she starts up. Yeah, battery tray back on, batteries back in, and we'll get it started. Okay, all the batteries on this go in the same place. So it is quite a large. Careful. Yep. Batteries are made of quite soft plastic, so they're quite easy to actually split. Okay. Batteries on.
So our next job is to start her up. I'll show you a quick other look in here, because we've got, like I said, explained, we've got the two driving positions. Got one going this way, and then one going the other way. Because the front of the vehicle's actually where the steering valve is, and the back of the vehicle's where the bucket is. So depending if you're in road work or you're in earth moving work, depending which driving position you use. So we'll start her up, and while we're building up there, we're going to pick the bucket up and put the bucket out of the way. And if all you guys cross your fingers, it'll work. And your toes, probably to cross them as well. It's a CET after all.
Master switch down in this corner. You can't see it because of the dark, but turn him on, and then fuel pump, a little bit of throttle, got all the throttle, and then start. And then just while she's warming up, just a touch of hand throttle, bit of a fast idle, get that air building up. Jump across to the other side. That is my dozer controls. steer, so she should now use the clutches. And she should then spin, lock a track up and spin around it.
We've got a skid steer both ways, which is the first time I had that. Oh, we fixed it. That was just some adjustment issues out on the clutches. Oh, what a babe. Right, let's get us over to the workshop then.
Into reverse second, so we've got no forward gear, foot off brake.
We've got Leo back. Hasn't featured in a video for a while. Leo, your next job.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4. Unbolt my hitch.
Yep, right.
That then is our big hitch for moving plant. So we plant daisies in the chavry. That's the hitch we need.